Good morning. We're Coffee with the Summerland Kids. I'm Jerico Woggon. This is Aaron Riggs. We're talking about the weather in Summerland today. It's August 6th, and the weather is 63 in the morning right now, a nice cool 63. And then the high today will be 79 with a mostly sunny day in Summerland, high 79. So we're tracking the Summerland weather here. We're the Summerland weathermen. Yeah.
It seems almost like we could put the same thing up every day,
Right.
360 plus days a year.
Sun.
It's going to be cool in the morning and warm in the afternoon.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So Aaron and I were just talking. Today's my last day at the formal office here in Colorado, and I spent a year here at the office. So I took Grandpa home yesterday. As you can see behind me, I got my ties behind me, my own art. And so, yeah, Grandpa's at home now above the bed in the bedroom. I took my Patrick Nagel painting down and put up Grandpa. And so he's chilling at home now on the ranch. And I'm planning a trip out to California. And so, for example, on Friday, what I have to do to get to California is I think my dad's going to give me a ride down to the Santa Fe train depot, which is like about 2.5 hours away. And then from there, it's called the Rail Runner Express. It's a super cool train that runs you from Santa Fe, New Mexico to Albuquerque. And what I've kind of figured out is it's a commuter rail train. It's a standard looking train. It's not hooked on the electric or anything. It's just a regular train. But it's a commuter train that takes, I think a lot of people work. They may work, if they're fortunate, either way you look at it, they're either working in Albuquerque, and so they're commuting to Albuquerque to go work, or they're coming into Santa Fe to work. Or they're coming into Santa Fe to enjoy some cultural experience of Santa Fe, New Mexico, because Santa Fe is kind of like Santa Barbara almost. It's got very stylish, flat-roofed houses. There definitely probably is the red tile, but it has a distinct look about it, which, you got to hand to the planning and development and whoever was in charge there for years, like putting their thumb on hey, we want to make this place look cool and be cool. We're going to stay cool. So that was their thing in Santa Fe. So
yeah, I guess you got to have lots of insulation and good AC to stay cool in Santa Fe.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, Santa Fe is definitely a desert. When you come out of the high country, like where we're at, the San Juan Mountains in the, Continental Divide, Rocky Mountains, we're definitely in the mountains here. We're like sort of a meadow below the Rocky Mountains where Pagosa Springs is, our little town. But when you drive to Santa Fe, you literally come down an elevation, and it literally opens up into some beautiful desert landscape atmospheres with some pretty cool rock formations on the way down that almost feel like the Grand Canyon or something like that. Santa Fe has always been a very creative, artsy town. I think, what's her name? She's an artist. I'm blanking on her name right now. I'll think of it in a second. But anyways, she was the famous Santa Fe artist in Taos, New Mexico. So anyways, it starts with a G. Really beautiful floral paintings. Anyways.
You got me, Jericho. I'm not the biggest art buff nor trivia buff.
Right. Yeah. So
but that's pretty cool. You're going back to California.
Yeah.
Got a couple things you got to do there. Empty out the dad's storage locker.
Yeah, empty out dad's storage locker and bring it back. And so last time I did the trip, because it's you get on the train, for example, at 3:30 in the afternoon in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it takes you all night. Essentially, you get to LA at like 7:30 in the morning. So
are
it's
you
like,
able to sleep on that thing, or is that just an all-nighter?
It's you can sleep on it. I mean, I got a coach seat, just a regular So it's literally like getting on an airplane and going to Australia or something. It's like, you're just,
Those seats recline.
they do recline. They do not heavily, but they recline enough to where you can crash out. So, I was talking with the lady on the phone. I'm old school. I just call up Amtrak and say I want to book a ticket, and then they email you right away while you're on the phone with your e-ticket and all that kind of stuff. But the train ride, my experience with the train is there is a sense of like, okay, we're all on this thing together like a boat, and you're going to meet some interesting people, have some interesting conversations if you want to engage in it. And, it's people from all walks of life. I mean, there's European travelers. I mean, you name it, they're on the train, and they're doing this trip together. And you cross the desert, essentially, a few states, of course, New Mexico, Arizona, into California. I might have missed a state there, but it's a pretty beautiful ride. And you do see a sunset, if you're fortunate, the weather permitting, a pretty amazing sunset coming across the desert. So it makes for an interesting journey. And it's, of course, a hands-free experience where you can just chill in the cafe car and frickin' just enjoy the ride, So,
yeah, I've been on the train a couple of times. Not too much though, but I really did enjoy it. I guess it was on the Coastal Starlight or whatever, that one that goes from.
Yeah, the surf liner.
Yeah, and it goes. I ended up going to Grand Central Station. Now that was a trip for me.
Yeah.
Now I imagine you got to stop in Grand Central and then transfer over to get up to Grover Beach.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into LA. I'll be there Saturday morning, and I'll stay with my buddy Yuri. Shout out to Yuri. Thank you, Yuri, for hosting again. And so I'll stay with Yuri Saturday night, Sunday night, and then Monday morning I jump on the train from Union Station. That's, like you said, the Grand Central style, from Union Station to Santa Barbara. And that's only like a $30 ticket to get from LA to Santa Barbara, which is cool. And then a buddy of mine in Santa Barbara, Mark, is going to grab me and take me up to Santa Maria. So, it's a multi-step process, but I'll be able to reconnect with some friends in Los Angeles. And so, the hard part about it is booking the trip, because you got to book. I also had to book a moving truck. So it's like a multi-booking experience, which was fine, but I had to figure out, okay, what's the best. I went with budget, shout out to budget rental trucks. Budget's pretty cool. They give you unlimited miles, like a 5-day rental of the truck with unlimited miles. So it's not bad as far as that goes. And the price didn't really change that I noticed because it's been a year since the last time I did this, because last year around this same time, it's funny, sort of synchronistic. I went to California to grab my grandfather's stuff, and now this time I'm going out to grab my father's stuff. So I guess you call me a good kid. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're around. There's a lot of kids that aren't around,
right?
And I don't know. I think it's something that I wish there was more of in modern society, as far as like having the extended family together. It seems like modern day and age, when you're 18, it's like a lot of parents say, "Oh, you're 18, get out of the house."
Yeah, roll out. Yeah.
But it's really, to me, it does my heart good to see, a couple generations at least, doing the thing together, maybe not all in the same exact building, but you got I guess you're in the barn.
Not yet, but I that's my goal. That would be a good goal, the barn, in some ways I'd like to create it to where it would be potentially a permitted living space. Like that would be a real, I would say a smart goal, because if I wanted to leave the property and leave it in the hands of someone else, the fact that it's sort of in terms of its construction and potentially currently the condition it's at right now, it's a little bit, I would say, old. It would be one thing if you walked onto the job site, when it was being built and made some adjustments, and then, because sometimes at certain structures, I want to say, with an inspection walkthrough, could be like, yeah, not bad. All right. Actually, you're signed off. I mean, that'd be amazing. But it's not terrible, but it's definitely something that needs a lot of attention, and it would require me to get probably another shipping container, or it's yet to be seen whether I could get a 40-foot container onto the property. I know I can easily get the 20-foot containers up there, but it's all about storage, and then making room to empty the entire barn, and then be able to really go after it like a solid construction project with a plan, and then of course possibly a few drawings drawn up or something like that to be real with it. I don't know yet. It just seems like, sometimes you jump into things like, oh, it's going to be temporary, but then it ends up being like, it's the new normal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know that, with permits and everything, it makes a big difference. You got to have your engineering plan submitted.
Yeah.
Some triplicate or whatever, and those got to be approved. Then you got to schedule the construction, schedule the inspection, schedule material delivery.
Yeah.
I always, anytime I'm planning something, I always schedule for miscellaneous or unknown.
Right.
Of course, it's always nice to stay on time, on budget, but you
Yeah.
got to plan for change, because there's always going to be something, whether it's a mistake or something you didn't see, or a shift on the fly. All of a sudden, oh, you know what? It would be good to put a kitchen here, or a bathroom there, or a sink there.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be
sure.
something. So as long as you plan for a miscellaneous category.
I know. And it's when you're just talking about it, it seems like I need like, 25 grand, just like without even thinking. It's just like that kind of money to me would be sort of essential in the process of it all. And we'll see, soon I got some, what do you call it? I mean, I'll get back to Colorado, and as soon as I make this quick round trip happen, and I'll be saving Dad some money, because he's paying for storage in California right now, so that'll get him out of that bill. And so it is kind of a new paradigm, having both the parents living on the land. I came up here to Colorado in 2020 because I could sense that with COVID, it was getting weird. And I wasn't super conspiracy theorying anything like that, but I just got a vibe and a sense of what was going on in the country. And I just decided, I rented a moving truck, and I got myself out to Colorado, because I knew my mom was alone at the cabin, and it was March, and her being 70 plus years old and still having to truck water and do the stuff she was doing it, which is amazing, but her hands, like the strength it takes just to do sometimes normal tasks for someone who's 70 plus years old gets a little bit hard for them to do.
Oh, absolutely. I know.
Yeah.
That, it makes a big difference, being alone, especially, when the COVID hit and everything's on lockdown.
Right.
They kind of shut down. I guess churches got shut down. A lot of the things that were non-essential got shut down. So like restaurants, I imagine, like movie theaters, anywhere, like amusement parks, were just bare bones or shut down. So it's not like you could go out and socialize, and then you add in out there on your own. I guess I would imagine your mom definitely thinks it as a blessing.
Oh yeah,
have you out there, doing some of the things, and even just someone to hang out with sometimes.
Yeah.
Have a morning coffee, or
Yeah.
an afternoon tea, just, conversation and visiting, even if it's just the same old stuff. We're humans,
Yeah.
we're social animals, so conversation
Right.
is a big part of what we do.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, the decision making, mom's always been good about, keeping me, my name in the mix on the titles and such, because at her age, she's just been conscious of that. So I felt a sense of responsibility, of course, to take care of the house that she built for my grandmother, and, painted the whole thing inside and out. And, the maintaining of things that you own is important, and staying on top of it more or less. And I could feel when I came out, when I was driving across the country, and then when I got here, it was like March 14th or something, 2020, and then it was only a couple of days later that they shut everything down, which was quite odd. I mean, thankfully, of course, the supermarkets stayed open. Your essential businesses, they called them, but I felt like,
Now, did you have enough toilet paper?
yeah,
Or were
right.
you one of the people that got hit
Yeah,
by the toilet paper shortage?
yeah,
Now, that's a
no,
funny thing
I
because
know, right?
it wasn't really a toilet paper shortage. It's that everyone was so worried about the toilet paper that they stocked up and overshopped.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, I better get, instead of 1 or 2 packs, I might get a
yeah,
case. And now everybody gets a case of
yeah,
toilet paper, and there's no
quote
toilet paper left at
unquote,
the store.
the
That was kind of
supply chain. I remember going to the market like it, because they had, I can't remember if they had, they may have adjusted their hours a little bit. They might have opened a little earlier, but I could have sworn I remember being there like at dawn, at the supermarket, just to get in line, because that was the whole thing too. You're having the social distance in the supermarket, so it's like someone was basically, all of a sudden the supermarket became like a nightclub where you're waiting to get in by the doorman. You know.
yeah, and they scan you and you got a
That's
temperature.
right.
Wow, it's a lot different than when we were kids because I remember chicken pox. I don't know
I
if
think I got that.
it
Yeah.
was like, oh, you got chicken pox. Okay, well, let's make sure all the kids get exposed to the chicken pox because I guess like the chicken pox
Oh,
is a like once you get the chicken pox, I guess it's more difficult to get the smallpox
right.
or
Just
something.
weird.
I don't know. And then I guess chicken pox when you're older, it can be a lot more problems than when you get it as a
Yeah.
kid. So I guess it's a lot different, mentality, a lot
Yeah,
different
totally. And
situation.
then so as soon as that we got into the groove of what was the new reality, March, April, May, June, July. By July, so that's like essentially a good 4 months strong into it. I believe they started to loosen the restrictions up, because our little county had like this whole color system that they were using to tell us the severity, because they were monitoring all the incoming cases, I think, at the hospital or something like that. And nonetheless, I got a job working for the Humane Society of Pagosa Springs, and it was the thrift store. So the cause was the animal shelter to help the animals. And so that ended up being something I did for like a good part of 3 years, working for the Humane Society and driving a truck and picking up donations. And we were wearing a mask pretty much the whole time, because our leadership, desired us to do that. And I just was like, heck, I came from the body shop. This little mask is nothing. I can totally wear this. I went along with it. And I know there was some, people that were against the mask. And so there was that element of, I remember some of our employees getting angry at some of the shoppers sometimes, because so it was a weird deal, man. It's like, talk about throwing something funny into the mix. That was a weird situation.
Oh yeah, I know that. I personally didn't enjoy wearing the mask, but I
Right.
tried. If it was
Yeah.
required, I definitely had it. But if it wasn't required, I'd be like, okay, it's not required, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
But it always struck me as funny, in the city, you see people driving and they're in the car by themselves and they're wearing the mask. I always thought that was kind of odd, you know. It's
I
like,
know, right?
oh yeah, I'm gonna get myself sick or something.
I
You
have
know,
no idea, man. Yeah. It got wild there for a second. I mean, I think also too, it's sort of like like wearing a hat or something, you get used to it, and or wearing like a veil or something, like some cultures they wear certain fashions. It's their normal go-to thing. And so they just obviously do it because it's their culture and their lifestyle. And now it's, yeah.
I'm not sure if that would ever become a thing, but I don't see myself wearing shoes. I always
Oh,
wear
right.
flip flops or sandals or
Yeah.
yeah. So if shoes ever became a requirement, I don't know if I would fit in so good. You know, every now and then I put
Yeah.
on and my feet just yell and scream at me by the end of it. Like, no, what happened
Yeah.
to me? And
Yeah.
I
You're
guess
the
as part of some, you get used to something,
Mhm.
When I was working and every day lace up my boots, it was
Yeah.
normal. It wasn't a thing, but you know, now that I haven't had to wear shoes, I don't.
Yeah.
Most of the day I don't even have slippers on, and unless I'm going
Right.
outside or something.
Yeah, when in Rome. I mean, California, man, the true California style. And California is a lot like Hawaii. When you get over to Hawaii, you pretty much are like, hey, wait a second. I don't need to wear pants and I don't need to wear shoes. I can wear shorts and flip flops, sandals essentially. Because the pavement in Hawaii, of course, is pretty hot. So, but it's completely normal and chill. I think that comes from our Santa Barbara culture, lifestyle too, where it's like, hey, life's a beach. That whole surfer casual element is definitely the code, if you will, the unspoken code of cultural, the fashion, the aesthetic, that whole thing. So.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I guess this is a little bit off the topic what we're talking about, but I know in the Central Coast, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, and all that, um, when you go out surfing, the water's cold. So
Oh,
you
dude.
gotta wear a wetsuit. But like in Hawaii or
Sometimes.
Mexico, my friend goes down every year to go to Cabo, I guess, to go surfing. And he's like, no, I can't surf up here. It's too cold. I don't like putting the wetsuit on. And in Hawaii, I guess the water is nice and warm. You don't need the wetsuit, huh?
Yeah, I know. You can wear a rash guard, a little, it's like a little nylon sort of, short sleeve or long sleeve shirt. So it gives you a little sun protection. It's super light and pretty tight most of the time if you get it fitted well, whatever. But it's just a little like sun blocker sport shirt that keeps the sun off you. But in terms of water temperature, you don't need a wetsuit or anything really. In Hawaii, I mean, they call it trunking it, just to wear your surf trunks or a bathing suit for the ladies, whatever. But I did get used to wearing it sometimes in my surfing life, wearing booties. And, once you get used to wearing booties, you start to feel naked without them. And I think that kind of ties into our other conversation where feeling naked without something, because once you start wearing something all the time, it becomes completely like a normal thing. And you feel, it's just like our phones these days. We feel naked, like, wait, where's my phone? That whole thing, like.
Oh yeah. Or like my beard, and
Yeah.
I feel naked. I
Yeah.
haven't, for a while I didn't wear the ponytail, but
Uh-huh.
pretty much all the time I wear the ponytail now.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
when I take the ponytail out, it just feels weird. It's like
Yeah.
for years I would wear the hair just like this, no ponytail.
Uh-huh.
I got it out of
Okay.
the ponytail right now because it's drying from
Yeah.
the shower this morning.
Yeah.
But now, just having the hair bothers me because I've gotten so used to keeping it in a ponytail.
Oh, right.
It's so interesting, I guess like when I was working out, it just felt weird when I wasn't up and doing a workout. And now that I have
Yeah.
it's just weird not
Yeah.
working out,
No, right.
I feel weird in the morning if I don't go out and water my garden because I'm so used to every morning just get up and run the hose for a bit. That reminds me, I got the soaker hose on, so I'm gonna have to go turn it off here in a
Oh,
little
that's
bit.
good. I'm glad we brought that up. It sort of goes back into like meditations of sorts. Like I feel like growing a beard is sort of a meditation, of sorts. Especially the first phase, like you said, the itchy phase or something like that. But once you get used to it, it's almost like sleeping with a little animal next. So it's somewhat comforting. Yeah. So you do get used to it, but also it is. Sometimes I'm like, okay, should I get rid of it? But I'm like, no, I'm committed. I'm going to go to LA at least, this trip with a beard. So it's like I'm bringing my beard with me on the travel, and also keeping the hair for the moment, keeping the hair going and all that, because the alternative is get rid of it all, and go completely naked. But sometimes it was kind of funny. Like I know when I was going up to the ski mountain, you'd be on this chairlift, and sometimes, some people have a very, I think they call it androgynous look, where you honestly don't know if the person next to you is a man or a woman. In some cases, I mean, all people are beautiful. Of course, I find all people beautiful, but there's something kind of interesting about the distinct manhood factor of the beard. There's no question that's a man baby, style.
No, it's funny because yesterday I went up to the courthouse. I was selected for jury duty, right?
Okay.
So I want to go up there. It is just interesting because there's so many variety of people, but I was one of the few people with long hair and a beard. I guess it's not the norm. It never has been, I guess, as far as general population. But when you get into like your social circles, like in high school, I hung out with the rockers, the metalheads, and so everybody had long hair. General population, like the football team, I was one of the only people on the football team with long hair.
That's awesome.
Which was interesting.
Yeah, no, I did grow my hair out like in my 20s. I think I might have cut it when I was like 24, but I think I did a good shot from 21 to 24 of growth, like maybe a 4-year time span of full growth. And it got pretty long. I mean, it definitely had the ponytail going for a while, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I finally did it. Like it did take sort of like some time where when you go through these phases of it being a weird length, where there's a length also where you can't ponytail it because it's not long enough. So there's that whole thing. And I think maybe in the old days, I mean, I think it was definitely an older, I kind of, reminds me of like the old miners or something. And perhaps they were just too busy to shave. They're in the zone, and maybe it's a warmth thing. I don't know if it's cold down in those mines or what, but I just kind of think of the old miner 49er or something like that with a beard and perhaps a little bit longer hair back in the, late 1800s.
I know that like firemen, they got the mustache. They're known firemen have the mustache.
Yeah.
I guess way back in the day, it was a thing because, ash and smoke. But if you got a bushy long mustache and got a little filter going, a little built-in filter from ash and the smoke, or you keep it wet to keep your face cool with the heat and the flames coming at you. You get a nice wet beard. You can have a little bit of protection. I know that I did live up in the snow for a bit, and I did have a clean-shaven face, and I just remember how cold it just felt. Oh, cold! I had to have one of those little face warmer masks that I had when I was up there, and then when I went back up there when I had a beard, it was like, oh yeah, it's so nice to have a beard.
Okay, so that changed it. Yeah, there's some interesting pictures they show of men, whether they're in skiing, like ski patrol, or whether they're in Alaska, but they'll have a massive amount of ice that's gathered on their beard, and it must be sort of a in the snow environment. When you're in that environment, it can gather on your beard, which I think is still protective in some way. I mean, of course, you know, it's a little shield. So anyways, beard talk, man. Yeah. Well, man, I'll be free range tomorrow. Like, this is the last day at the office. So I'll be coming to you live, perhaps from a field of flowers, or in front of the old museum. I'm going to find some cool backdrops. That's going to be my goal, is to find cool atmospheres to surround myself with on the free range coffee talk show circuit.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I look
Well, cheers
forward
to another good show,
talk
man.
with you tomorrow.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you then. Have a great day, man. Thank you, everybody.